Hi, my name is Crystal Blaker with Rough House Dog Training in Tucson, Arizona, and here is a short video on some frequently asked questions. Hey there, I wanted to bring a tip to you today in regards to loose leash walking. So this is probably the #1 complaint I get in regards to dog training, and a lot of it is due to behaviors that we do to our dog unconsciously, or behaviors that we reinforce unconsciously. So I'm going to show you with Veda here, hopefully just moving about in the living room, is most often when people are standing still or manipulating the leash, they're using constant tension on the leash, and they're not teaching the dog how to exist with them in free space without leash tension. So again, I'll show you here with Veda. So as I move around with her, I'm always cognizant of where I have the leash. So with a really strong, powerful dog, I always keep the leash close to the center of my body or my midline. So here she's pulling out to treats. So if I was standing over here and if she really pulled me, I'm going with her because I have no center of gravity. So a really strong, powerful dog, and any dog for that matter, I want to stand still and have the leash at my midline or belly button or belt buckle. And if I have to switch and rotate, then I can do that. But I can very easily tell if the dog's going to pull in a direction with how the leash pressure is moving. And if it's starting to go back, because say they're pulling back behind me, I'm going to pull that leash in close. So that way if she does lunge at something, I got a hold of it right here on my midline. So this is helpful this time of year too with dogs, because dogs have natural prey drive, and we're getting a lot of lizards out, quail, butterflies, leaves blowing in the wind with those young puppies, and they want to chase things. So keep in mind as you're moving around with your dog, always keep that leash at your midline. So then if I'm moving and she stalls, then I give 2 tugs on the leash. So the other common mistake is when people are moving around is they'll sit here with the dog and then they'll stand with the leash tight. So I have an extra little loop here on the leash and they stand like this. So the leash is tight. The dog is getting used to that leash tension, and then they also learn they don't have to pay attention to you because they know exactly where you are. They feel the tension on the leash and know where you are. So she actually backed up to release that leash tension because she doesn't like it. That is conflict to a dog, and believe it or not, dogs don't like conflict. They want to avoid conflict as much as possible, just like humans do. So when you're standing still, keep that leash slack so there's no tension in the leash. So they get used to no tension being on their collar and they can exist in free space. Now I'm going to tempt her to move away with a piece of kibble so you can see an example. And so as I go to, I'm going to toss the kibble to let her get, and then I'm going to toss it outside of her boundary. And what people will do is they'll hold on tight. So they have a hold of that leash tension. And then the dog gets used to that tension there. So then, if she goes, I'm going to let her, okay, Veda, good girl, get that one. As she goes for the kibble here, so she's smart enough now, yes, good girl, where she knows not to do that. So there, I gave a little tension because I was moving away at the exact same time she was moving in that direction. So Veda, okay. Good girl. Yes. So I do 2 quick tugs to bring her back into my space, to teach her to exist within the length of the leash that we have here. Veda. And then I immediately release, yes, that leash pressure, so she knows to stay within the space of the leash. So just a quick, easy tip for you to keep in mind and be more cognizant about. Am I constantly using leash tension on the leash when my dog is on leash so I know where they are? Be more in the moment so you can release that leash pressure, still feel and communicate to them with that leash tension, and know, hey, you can exist in this space whatever length of leash you want. So if you're standing still in a really congested area, then they get 3 feet. If you want them to have more space, then they can have 4 feet. But again, that leash always stays loose, whether I'm standing still, and especially if I'm moving, that leash is always at my belly button or my midline. So if she decides to take off somewhere, I can quickly hold tight on the leash and she doesn't rip my shoulder out of its socket. The other thing I do too is I stick my thumb through the loop and then I close my hand over that leash. I don't have to use much leash pressure and this is not coming out of my hand. Flip side is if she's going to pull me in a cactus chasing a rabbit, I'd rather have her just go in the cactus rather than both of us. So then I can just open my hand and that leash is going to come right off. It's a lot safer than putting it around your wrist and doing this, because if you have to let go, you're most likely going to be stuck with your dog on that leash. So keep in mind, don't have constant tension on that leash whenever the leash is on the dog. If they go to pull somewhere, keep the leash at your midline so you have that strength and that center of gravity to prevent them from pulling you over. Because if they do pull and you lean forward, there's hope that they can get to that thing. So of course they're going to try again. And then when you're standing still, don't be holding on to them taut. Release that leash tension so that way they exist with you in that space and learn to engage with you more rather than ignoring you and blow you off because they feel that leash tension and they can look wherever they want because they know exactly where you are. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to post those in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Good girl, Vita.